let's jump right in. So Tyler has the day off today, so you guys have me, which I'm so excited about. If we haven't met before, I'm Kristen Carter. I'm a full-time KW agent in the Phoenix, Arizona market. I'm also a huge, passionate person of AI, tech, and all the things that we can use it for to help our brains process life the way that we do. And I love just what we can do with technology. So I'm happy to be sharing about it. I also really like when we can have interaction. So realistically, I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to talk about some of the stuff that I use ChatGPT for and how I utilize it and that sort of thing. But if you have questions or if you're running into a problem or something is that you've got burning question about ChatGPT, raise your hand and we'll talk about it because it's more fun when it's interactive than when it's just me talking. But we'll jump right in. So I've taught on it before, and one of the coolest upgrades that ChatGPT has now that I adore, and has been particularly helpful for my brain, the way it works, was the first one was when they added this search tool. So it's been in the app for a long time. It was one of the very first things they did, but when it actually came to the computer, it wasn't an option until probably about, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago. They added the search tool for everybody. So now you can search through all your old threads and find old conversations that you've had. And if you're like me, who's been using this for 2 years, you probably have a whole bunch of things on your left-hand side that look kind of like this. So it's a hot mess and it's in process. So that was the first upgrade. The second upgrade that they did was they introduced projects. So what projects are kind of like a smaller version of custom GPTs. So think of them like Google folders meets a custom GPT. So what's great about these is that you can put instructions into a folder and it will follow those instructions just within that folder of conversation. So if you're having a chat with ChatGPT, it'll follow those instructions, and you can also add files specifically for that project. So think of it like, I tend to think of it like a Google Drive on steroids. Like if I can work within one folder and tell it all the things I want it to do within that folder and narrow its scope, that's what this does. Additionally, it's just a great way to organize things. So as you're doing your threads on the left-hand side, you can actually drag your conversation up into a folder. So if you want to spend some time organizing your ChatGPT, you totally can now, which I greatly appreciate. And it makes it easy because it's just drag and drop. So I'm going to show you one that I've done that I built out as a project, and it is my social media folder. So I added into it random PDFs from around the internet. And then I put instructions to tell it that this is my social media folder. Like everything that I talk about in this folder is going to be social media based. And here's how I want ChatGPT to respond to me within this folder. And now every time I have a chat with it, it knows to refer back to those two things. And it keeps them all organized for me so that I'm not having to start 12 different chats about social media. It's all in one place. There we go. Now it's loading. So you can see that I've been working through. I'll copy and paste it for you, Chelsea. She put into the chat to ask if I can go back to my social media folder directions. And so I'll actually copy that right now for you. So here's the project instructions, and I have them on the screen too. So if you're watching this as a playback, you can take some time to snap a photo of it or whatever. But basically, I just told ChatGPT what my goal is with this particular project. And it is specifically for growth, lead generation, and conversion for my social media. So that's what this project does. And then because of that, I can now go through and I can have these conversations with it about my social media. And I can interact essentially with all of these PDFs that I've uploaded as well. So one of the things that's great is I'll simply ask it sometimes, as it's loading still, that I just need a script for a reel, and it can refer back to what I've posted in here before. And so like, I'll ask it sometimes for different varieties of things. And so it says, okay, great, here's your lighthearted and snarky version. Here's your friendly and educational version. So that's what this project does. And that's what all of these projects do. So at the beginning, what you're going to do is you're just going to hit the plus sign anytime you're going to start something new. And then you're going to give it a name. So we're just going to call this Project 1, since it's our sample. And then because I now have Project 1, it pops right up. And then I can simply start a chat. I can drag a chat from down here into Project 1, and that's where it lives now. If I decide, you know what, I don't want that project, I don't want that chat inside that project anymore, I can drag it to a different project, or I can just drag it out altogether. So that to me is one of the best upgrades that ChatGPT has done in terms of organizing itself. So now let's talk about how do we organize ourselves with ChatGPT? Like, what are the tips and tricks, and what are the things that you can do? One of my biggest ones that I always talk about with ChatGPT is using it for our brain dumps. When I've got so many things in my head that I can't think of what else to do or what to do next, ChatGPT is fantastic at taking that and breaking it down for me. So here's the prompts that I use whenever I'm going to do that. I say something to the effect of, this is a brain dump of all the things floating in my head. I want you to organize them in the way that makes the most sense for my business. So ChatGPT knows my business. I've already put that in my custom instructions. If you haven't, then you maybe want to put them in your project instructions, just something so it knows who you are and what you do. I also typically will tell it to follow the 80-20 rule, because it knows that there's probably about 20% of things on my list that I should be doing and 80% that I can ignore. So ChatGPT is going to filter that for me too. So it's going to follow the 80-20 rule and sort my tasks accordingly. So now you can do one of two things. You can use this dictate button right here if you choose to, and you can use your voice. So I know for some people, speaking it gets it out of your head a lot faster than typing it. So feel free to use the microphone tool as often as you want to. And if you're using the app, you can also connect voice to voice with ChatGPT and it will talk to you. Is this only for paid plans? No, this is not only for paid plans. Projects should be available to free accounts as well. If you don't see it, let me know and we may need to troubleshoot your account. But projects are available to free. And someone else asked, I'm assuming it already knows you're a realtor. Mine does, yes. I set my custom instructions so that it knows not only am I a realtor, but where I work, what my market is, what my team is. And actually, I'll show you that real quick so you can see that as well. This is what my custom instructions currently look like. Keeping in mind that I do change these frequently as I'm teaching, but here's what my custom instructions look like. And if yours don't have that much details, then I can show you how to do that too. And then last question, let's see. Oh, perfect. Yep, we're good there. Okay, so I'm going to tell it to sort my tasks accordingly. So today I'm just going to make some stuff up because these are things that are kind of in my head, but I've already done a lot of them. So my Tuesday follow-up, I need to negotiate repairs. I need to, let's do some marketing. Let's write some reel scripts. And then let's also add some family stuff in there, meal plan, graduation gifts, and let's see, set a vet appointment for the dog. Okay, so this was my brain dump, and then 80-20 rule is going to apply, and it's going to tell me, here's the things that you need to do, obviously. And keeping in mind that this was the shortest list I've ever brain dumped into here. Usually it's like so much longer, as you, I'm sure you guys have the same thing. So yeah, so it tells me suggested workflow. The other thing you can do too is you can say, my schedule for today starts at 9 a.m. I have an 11 o'clock listing appointment and a lunch at 12:30. Write my schedule for the rest of the day. So if you're the type that you like to follow instructions, or maybe the day is the day that you want to follow instructions and you're not usually that type of person, this is a fun way to do it. Gives you some variety and something different to, like, check off the boxes. So I've done this before where I'll tell ChatGPT what my schedule is, where I've got appointments, where I don't, and then it fills in the blanks for me. So it actually gives me enough time for transition buffers. And it also gives me enough time for a mental recharge. Because again, my ChatGPT knows that this is dealing with ADHD. And then it also gives me a quick win sprint from 3 to 3:30. If I can get these 3 things done, then I'm going to feel super accomplished. So I adore that it recognizes my ADHD and then works with me, not against me. So this is a really easy way to do that. Chelsea, I can follow up with you about the custom instructions. Totally easy to set them up. And when you do that, when you get your custom instruction set, you no longer have to tell ChatGPT who you are, what you do, or reiterate any of that stuff as you're continuing on with your conversations. The other thing that a lot of people don't know about too is memory. So I don't know if people in here know about this, but I'll point it out. You can toggle your ChatGPT's memory on and off. And what I mean by that is when you go into your settings, you have options within your settings for it to remember everything about all your conversations that you've ever had. And that's what this will do if you turn this on. It's going to reference your chat history across every single chat that. Okay. It'll reference all of your chats across every chat you've had, not just one. So if you only use your AI specifically for work, then this is a great way to do it. If you use your ChatGPT for more than one business or personal as well, you may not want to have your memory turned on. It's totally a personal preference. So I keep mine off. I use custom instructions and projects instead because I find that that tends to keep it less confused. Temper is a great question. Thank you for that, actually. So the question is I will get temporary chat options on my screen. And they're not wrong. That is totally an option in ChatGPT now. Think of it like an incognito browser. So if you just have a one-off question that you want to ask ChatGPT, you don't need to save the information, and you never need to reference it again, then you can use a temporary chat. And it will disappear as soon as you close it out. So just keep in mind that if you want to use a temporary chat, know that you're using it because it won't save and you won't reference back to it. But it's great for like a one-off thing where you're like, oh, I just needed an answer to this question and you didn't want to Google it and AI was better. I used it when I was asking what a movie title was. This is not business related at all. I couldn't think of this movie. So I described it to ChatGPT and it knew what I was talking about. So that was my use of a temporary chat. For the Plus account, yeah, you can toggle your memory on and off. And then temporary, it only pops on if you click it. So if it says temporary, just click up here and it will toggle off. So that's where your button is for this one. What else do I buy? Let's see. Yeah, when it doesn't have a check mark, it's off, Carmen. So if it will also say temporary chat at the top when you toggle it. So the other thing that I like to use projects for is my email templates, because we're consistently having similar conversations with clients. I have them now saved. Every time I create a new email for my clients, I put it into this folder, and then that way I can refer back to it, or I can go edit that same email again for a different client. maybe they have a different situation and a different personality, but I still need to send it for the same timing. So templates are a great way to use that as well. So keeping in mind that you can do that in a project, and again, add your instructions. So this folder is for email templates for my business. I will be speaking to clients, cross agents, title officers, and inspectors. My voice is always professional, yet friendly and approachable. So I want to make sure that when it's creating these emails for me, that it's using the voice that I like to use. And for me, that's a professional but friendly and approachable voice. For some people, that might be a different set of adjectives. You might be professional yet casual. You might like to use a lot of slang terms. However you typically will describe yourself, you can tell ChatGPT. Another thing that's really cool too is you can ask ChatGPT to describe your writing style if you don't know it. And the easiest way to do that is to go take a couple of your emails that you've written before that you like the way they're written, copy and paste them into ChatGPT, and you just put them into the chat, and then you say, please describe the tone of voice in this email. And then it's going to give you your description. And if you don't like that description, then try playing with editing it and say, hey, look, yeah, I know that's my description, but I don't want to write that way anymore. What happens if we add a friendly tone? What happens if we add a more casual tone? And now I'm reading comments. Carmen says, write a script for me to attract clients who aren't offended by me dropping F-bombs during showing. You just have personality. That's all it is. I love it. And honestly, if you are a little snarky or a little sassy in like just your usual tone of voice, don't hide that in your emails. Like make it sound like you, because you can play with the tone of ChatGPT until it sounds exactly like you and no one's going to know the difference. I also really like rewriting emails. When I want to say the thing I can't say, I type it to ChatGPT and I say, here's what I really want to say. Make it professional, please. ChatGPT and adds Gen Z. All right, we're going to do this because it's hilarious and I have done it before. So the comment is ChatGPT add Gen Z slang. So we're going to do this. We're going to say, write me a listing description in Gen Z slang. I'm going to use this as a reel on my social media. And actually, I'm going to take this over to our social media file instead. Let's just see what it says to that. I haven't told it the house, so I don't know what it's going to come up with, but for the moment, it's fine. Okay. So here's what happens in my social media folder, because it knows what my goals are and what I'm trying to do. It's going to give me my reel. It's going to give me my like talking points, and then it's going to give me some tips after, which is great. So here's your things if you want to add a Gen Z style to your next tour, and turn it into a reel. And these are trending. Like this whole vibe is trending on social media right now, where people are kind of making fun of houses with Gen Z terms. And it's working. So DM me vibes for a private tour or just fangirl over this place together. That's cute. So here's what happens if I write the exact same request in my general thing instead. So the first one I put was in my project that has my instructions and my personality and all my things programmed. And now I've just put it into my full ChatGPT, no project, but it does have my custom instructions for just like, it knows I'm a realtor in Phoenix. So, and here's what it says. So you can see the difference between the two of kind of generic versus very custom to me and my personality. That's the power of projects. So you can see really how dialed in you can get on the responses from ChatGPT just by utilizing projects. And that's not even utilizing custom GPTs. That's just the projects itself. Additionally, here's another thing that I've been doing with ChatGPT is I've been uploading PDFs with data, and then I've been asking ChatGPT to analyze them for me. And this is something that people were asking me about too. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So for this one, I ran an MLS comp report, and then I just saved it as a PDF. So I feel like it doesn't really matter what your MLS does. I feel like everybody should be able to do this part. If your state doesn't have disclosure, like if you have weird disclosure rules, you might not be able to. But for me, what I was trying to do with this was I wanted ChatGPT to look at the comps, and my gut was telling me a number, but I wanted the data to confirm it. And then I wanted to write it out in like a bullet pointed list to send to my client along with these comps. So it was more of like, it wasn't that I was letting ChatGPT do my job. It was, I was letting it confirm what I already thought or tell me if I was wrong. And so what I did was I gave it the information, and then I asked it to help me write a price reduction conversation to my client based on those comps. And then that's what it gave me back, was my little like bullet pointed list to tell me that we were in the right ballpark. And so here's what this looks like is I uploaded the comp reports, and it says what the comps say. So it gives me like a little breakdown. And then here's what to tell the sellers. The market's giving us a clear message during your last listing. 750 was too high. Comps have tightened. Homes are still selling. You're looking at 700 to 735. And so that's what I had the conversation with them about. And it was great. It worked out really well to have all the data in front of me and have the comps and be able to have these conversations. And sometimes I know we just get stuck in our head when we spin our wheels too much. And so having it spelled out like this just makes it so nice for our buzzy brains. And literally all I asked it was, I said, this is our current listing and where it is. Here's my thoughts on it. Here's the comparables. Here's what I said. And I kind of just talked to it, not necessarily like it's ChatGPT, but just like it's my assistant. I know a lot of times people get stuck on the prompts. Just talk to it. It understands English. As long as you give it enough information, it's going to figure out what you're trying to do. And so this is what it gave me. And then I was able to take this and I copied it into a Word doc and stuck my branding at the top and the bottom. And then I took it with me to go talk to the client, and it looked great. And it took me maybe 10 minutes to make. And so the client felt like I took the time to do the report. They got the data, they got his like nice little PDF that went with it. And so ChatGPT essentially just took what was in my head and then made it nice and pretty so that my client could understand it. Another thing that a lot of people don't know that you can do with this is I can change the way it presents information based on my client's personality. So ChatGPT knows disc profiles. So I'm going to say, let's write a quick text message to the seller of the home. And they are a high D personality. I want to give a quick update on this info. I don't actually remember what the info is because this was a few weeks ago, but because it's a high D personality, here's what it says I should say. Now, translate that to a seller with a high C personality. So here's your high C adjustment. It's a little different, but not much. Usually there's a bigger difference between these two. Usually the high D is like bullet points and the high C is something longer with logic. It's probably because I asked it for a text message that it's like, oh, we want it short and sweet no matter what you do. But if you don't know your clients' personalities, that's okay too. Like, just tell ChatGPT what their job industry is, and it will kind of filter through and figure out how best to communicate with them. Chelsea, do I have a booklet of prompts? No, not yet. That is something I've thought about though. And then Mindy just found the sidebar. Yay! Okay, I'm very excited about that. If you don't have the sidebar, here's the button for it. It's up here on the left-hand corner, and it's open and close your sidebar. That is a really good point. So thanks for that. How do you connect your ChatGPT from your phone browser to your desktop browser? The biggest one I see that people are doing is that they don't have the right app on their phone. So make sure that the app you have is the ChatGPT app from OpenAI. It can't have any other GPTs in it. It is just ChatGPT, and it's from OpenAI. And if you have that and your login is the same, you should see clones of your account, whether you're on desktop or app. If it's still wonky, just let me know. I keep hearing about this, the prompt library. I got you guys. I'm going to work on a prompt library for everybody and I will get it because perfect. Here's the thing though. I'm going to tell you right now. You can ask ChatGPT to prompt itself. So here's what that looks like for me. When I don't know what else to ask it, I will literally ask it to prompt itself. So I'll say, I want to create a new marketing plan for my listings. How should I set this up in ChatGPT? And that's my question. Thanks, Nicole. Some people with free accounts are able to upload documents and everyone can do custom instructions. I will confirm on the folders portion of if that's just for Plus, because I have seen some free accounts with it. And I don't know if ChatGPT is just rolling them out separately, or if they've decided that it's paid only, because that's something that they do sometimes. But going back to asking it to prompt itself, first of all, it's going to ask me a bunch of questions. And then I'm going to say, of course, I need all these answers for it, but here's your copy paste prompt from ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, help me create a repeatable ADHD-friendly listing marketing plan for homes in the 500 to 800,000 range in the East Valley. My brand is warm, modern, people first. I want a checklist that I can use for every listing that covers pre-listing prep, social media content, open house marketing, and post-close touches. Here's the apps that I use. I want to include ideas for automation and scripts I can tweak for different personalities. So all I asked ChatGPT to do was give me the prompt I need to run the plan through ChatGPT. I've also been known to ask other AIs for ChatGPT prompts. You can ask Perplexity, you can ask Claude, you can ask Bing, you can play on Google Notebook. They will all give you prompts to create different things. And all I do is just ask ChatGPT more than anything else. And that sounds so silly. But here's what happens if I take that and I put this into a new chat now. And here's what it's going to do just because I asked it. So here you go. So if you ever get stuck and you don't know what to ask, just ask ChatGPT for its own prompt. And then it's going to prompt itself to do whatever it is you wanted it to do. You can also ask it questions. So if you're like, hey, why can't I do this? It'll give you instructions on how to fix it too. These ones over here are my custom GPTs. So I have access to the video portion of ChatGPT through Sora. That's their video creator. And then the library is all the custom GPTs that you can access. And then I have a couple GPTs of my own. One is called my real estate role play. And so that's my GPT that I've made to script practice with. I'll show you what it looks like. So I programmed this to be able to go back and forth while I drive, and I can have whatever conversations I want to have to that. So this is what I made. And then I just go back and forth with it whenever I want to and practice a conversation like a price reduction, or maybe I'm meeting a new client and I want to just try out some new stuff. Whatever, like it sets me up and lowers my anxiety when I do that. This call has been recorded. It will be posted to the group. We'll send out emails. Feel free, guys, reach out to me either on Facebook. I'm just Kristen Carter on Facebook, or you can text me. I put my number in the chat. Always happy to talk AI and troubleshoot and help you get it set up and do whatever we got to do, because I want you all to be super productive and have happy brains. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you, and I'm always here to help.